Tears come streaming down her face when you lose something you can't replace. When you love someone but it goes to waste. Could it be worse? Lights will guide you home, and midnight your bones, and I will try to fix you. Lights will guide you home, and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you.
Hey everyone, I'm Joe Zealand, and today I'm going to show you how you can play Fix You on acoustic guitar. If you've just seen part 1 of this video, you might have already noticed that there's 2 different acoustic guitars that I've covered in my version of the song. And that's because the original recording has an acoustic guitar, like way back from 2005, but more recently, when Chris played this song on acoustic guitar, it was a completely different tuning, completely different chords, and a completely different feel. And in this video, I'm going to be covering both versions. Starting with guitar 1, which is the more recent live acoustic version of the song from the Everyday Life era. And the tuning so happens to be the same as Till Kingdom Come, which starts out with the low E string tuned down to a C. Second string stays in standard tuning, so just A. The D string again is tuned down to a C. The G string stays in standard tuning. B string also stays a B. The high E string again is tuned down to a C, which means the low E string, the D string, and the high E string form 3 octaved E flats with your capo on the 3rd fret. Alright, so that's the tuning plus the capo. Now let's get into the main riff. And we're starting out on our home chord, our bass chord, an E flat major. Open E string, 6th fret on the A string, open D string, open G string, 4th fret on the B string, and open E. Then you keep this shape, this finger positioning, but just move it up 2 frets to 8 and 6. But you also want to put a finger on the 7th fret of the E string, the low E string that is. You can also play this with your thumb, which is what Chris sometimes does. I think it gets a little uncomfortable, so I just play it with my middle finger. Okay, so the next 2 chords in my version of the song, I say my version because there's not one fixed, permanent version of the song. There's just a couple of live versions, and Chris himself plays it a little differently every time. So the next 2 chords I've kind of simplified, just using 2 fingers. And that is 12th fret on the low E string. Then with the same finger, you want to mute the A string. Open D, open G, and 11th fret on the B string, open E. And again, take this finger positioning and move it down 2 frets to 10 and 9 on the low E and B string respectively. So let's check out this full riff with the rhythm, and then I will explain the rhythm to you. It's kind of an interesting mix of strumming and picking at the same time, but even more interestingly though, compared to the original version, the 2005 album version, this rhythm basically implies a double time speed up. So if you count along to it, it kind of sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And when we get to guitar 2, the original acoustic guitar, and I'll count along to that one, you can tell that it's halftime compared to this. Now let's have a look at the exact rhythm and how it works. So what you need to replicate this is basically your thumb and your middle finger on your strumming hand. And let's slow it all the way down so we can have a closer look at what these 2 fingers exactly do here. Maybe tell that the thumb produces this consistent bass pattern on the 1 and the 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's add our middle finger to it. Alright, and for the first, 3 minutes of the song up until that lead guitar, electric guitar riff kicks in, you want to consistently stick to this rhythm. So now let's move to the chorus, where we have a completely different set of chords. I'm going to play it once, then we'll break down the chords. And again, just apply the same rhythm, the same strumming / picking pattern. So we're starting out on the 8th fret of the E string. I use my thumb for this. Then again, with that same finger, you want to mute the A string. Then it's open D, open G, and 9th fret on the B string. And open C. Then we have this quick little transition chord in E flat over G, and you just take the same finger positioning and move it down 1 fret. 7 and 8. 8, 9, 7, 8. And then we play a B flat 6. That is 10th fret on the E string. Again, mute the A string with that same finger. Open D and open G. 8th fret on the B string. And open C. And we resolve this to a regular B flat major chord. 10th fret on the E string. Again, mute the A string. Open D string. And then 10th fret on the G string. And the rest is open strings. On the last round of the chorus, though, we have this little scale upwards from B, C to D. To start again on our B flat 6 chord, lift your ring finger to play this open C on the A string, and we end up on B flat over D. That is 5th fret on the A string, open D and open G. 6th fret on the B string, and open E string. Once again, if you look at the live videos that exist of this version, you might notice that Chris plays this A flat major chord again a little differently with 3 fingers, and then the chord looks a little like this. I think it's a little uncomfortable to play, and that for the transition chord, he only moves down his thumb from 8 to 7, keeping the 10, 8 root, which I can't even do with my fingers because I guess my fingers are just not as long as Chris's, which is why I ended up playing it differently. So you just decide for yourself what you want to do here. Alright, let's now move into the bridge part, which is really interesting on this guitar, because the cool part about this tuning is, compared to the other guitar, which we're going to be covering in a bit, that this lead guitar riff really works well in this tuning, and you can combine the lead riff with the basic harmonic foundation of that part. To fix you. So a lot of things happening here. We have an entirely different rhythm with a completely different accent. That is what we want to look at first. So this is where our accents lie now. Now you want to fill up those 3 accents per bar. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So at the end of each bar, you have this quick 16th movement. On top of the rhythm completely changing, as you can tell, the chords change, but the chords also imply this lead guitar solo, right? But instead of just alternating between 4 and 11, which is what the lead guitar does, we add some variation to that riff. Again, we're starting on our E flat major 6 and 4 root, 6 on the A string, 4 on the B string. But then on the last two accents, you move to the 11th fret on the B string. And you want to make sure you don't play the E and A string for this. Then again, we move to A flat major, 8 on the E string, 9 on the B string. And again, on the last two accents, move to 11 on the B string. And then you go to 10 and 8 on the A and B string. I kind of like to do this little downwards movement from 10-8 to 8-6 to 6-4. And then again we move to B flat over D, 5 on the A string, 6 on the B string. And I kind of like to resolve it with this very dramatic chord. 11th fret on the A string, and the rest is open strings. And now the outro is just a repetition of the chorus, but instead of strumming this part, you just play single chords. Lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you. And instead of ending it on E flat major there, what Chris has done for a long time live is he does this little lick. Again, root 6-4 on the A and a B string, move it to 8-6, move it to 10-8, A flat major, then only play the D, G, B, and E string, 10-8 on the B string, have a bass chord, E flat major, and then B flat 7, 10th fret on the E string, 11th fret on the A string, and open strings, and then you end it on E flat major. Now, Guitar 2, which has the original tuning from the album version, which is completely different, and that guitar also plays in significantly fewer parts. It plays a different rhythm. Let's have a look at all of this now. So the tuning is basically standard tuning. Check this out, just playing a regular E major shaped chord. But it's actually not an E major chord, it's an E flat major chord. And that's because every string here has been tuned down a semi-step. So this tuning is E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B flat, E flat. And the acoustic guitar actually only plays in a few select parts. It comes in the second verse playing this. So rhythmically, this is halftime compared to the Everyday Life tour version. Let's count along to it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Double time, right? Everyday Life. This acoustic guitar comes back in for the big finale, and we have the same rhythmic switch to a downward-upward movement. And that's it. If you do have any other questions, just hit me up in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Stay safe out there. Take care, everyone. And I'll see you on the next video. Joe Zealand, out.